to tell you about concerns of parents in the Eastern Cape. They want the Education Department to detail a plan on how to deal with overcrowding at some schools. The parents have turned to the courts with the assistance of the Legal Resource Centre. They are demanding that the Education Department in the province deals with the issue. We now speak more on this with McConnachie. He's an attorney at the Legal Resources Centre. They are actually helping some of the parents with the litigation. Thank you very much for your time, Cameron, this afternoon. Give us a little bit of background into the story, because we understand that the case dates back rather to 2018.
Thank you. So we were approached by a number of parents at various schools that were extremely overcrowded. 80, 100, sometimes 120 children in a single classroom. And this was clearly a breach of the law in terms of the norms and standards for school infrastructure. So we drafted papers and filed at court, and we went to court in two parts. Part A sought immediate relief for the 4 schools, and we got an order in 2020 directing the department to build classrooms at those 4 schools. But Part B was not heard until last week. Part A, in terms of compliance, it has been very slow, but 68 classrooms have now been built at 3 of the schools, and at the 4th school, the contractor is now on site, and it's supposed to be finished by June next year. So the 4 main applicants should have all should be dealt with by June next year. So it's been slow progress, but it is tangible results. It is unfortunate that we did have to go to court to get this to get compliance with the law, but it was necessary. Part B, which was heard last week, is trying to deal with the problem in a more systemic way. There's obviously there are many more overcrowded schools in the Eastern Cape, and so we've sought detailed lists of schools with in excess of, on average, 60 learners per classroom, and plans for how the department intends to eradicate the overcrowding in those classrooms, in those schools. And we've asked that the court retain jurisdiction over the matter. So that means that the department will have to file progress reports, their plans and their progress reports, to the court. So the court will retain some sort of oversight until they're satisfied that the problem has been dealt with. Whether we're going to get that order, we're not sure. Judgment was reserved. And, but we're hoping that the court agrees with us.
Sure. You speak of solving the problem in a systemic way. The Education Department in June sent you a list of overcrowded schools. So the 94-page list, the department showed that 424 schools have at least one classroom with 60 or 60 more pupils, as you spoke of the 100 number. And that means between 21 and 31% of schools in the 4 education districts have at least one classroom that is severely overcrowded. When you speak of solving this in a systematic way, what do we need to understand also about the conditions under which the pupils study, right? So do they have to walk in 2023 for kilometers on end to reach some of these schools? By the time they get there, are they tired? Are there feeding schemes that actually work properly when we speak of a holistic, systematic change?
Okay, so that's probably, that's definitely more or broader scope than this case is dealing with. There are other cases and other organizations that are looking at those various problems. For example, scholar transport. There are litigants trying to improve the scholar transport issue. Other organizations, and including the LRC, looking at nutrition in schools. But this case is really just focusing on trying to, instead of just dealing with the overcrowding in terms of those 4 schools, the main litigants, but trying to deal with all of the schools that are suffering from overcrowding. But in terms of overcrowding and the experience of learners in the classrooms, it's just unacceptable. You've got 4 children sitting in a desk that's made for 2. You've got the teacher who's backed up to the blackboard, can't move around the classroom because it's completely packed with desks and children. If a child wants to go to the bathroom, they have to clamber over 4, 5, or 10 children to get out the door. It's unsafe. It's very difficult for the teacher to maintain discipline. It's difficult to hear. It's often hot. So the experience of the learners and the teachers is unacceptable, and the results show all of these schools are suffering terribly in terms of the type of academic performance that they're able to achieve. So we think that it's no good, the department, just building classrooms at 4 schools. They need to have a broad systemic plan for addressing the issue across the Eastern Cape. And we hope that this court case is at least a step in the right direction, and we do hope that we get the judgment that we've been seeking.
Just remind us again in terms of the judgment, or reiterate what it is that you would like the court to order.
So we'd like the court to direct the department to generate plans for how they're going to address the problem, and we'd like the court to retain jurisdiction. So that means that the department will have to report on its plans and its progress in dealing with overcrowding in districts in the Eastern Cape schools.
Thank you so much, Cameron McConnachie, attorney at Legal Resource Centre.